This is CBN NewsWatch.
Thank you so much for joining us for CBN NewsWatch. I'm Ephraim Graham. We begin this half hour in the Middle East, where Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is calling anti-Semitism a disease spreading throughout the world. Some members of Congress are fighting back, and it comes as America's military battles Houthis in Yemen, and those Houthis continue to launch missiles at Israel. Chris Mitchell brings us the story. He's reporting from Jerusalem.
Israelis ran for cover once again as the Houthis in Yemen launched 2 more missiles at Israel in the middle of the day on Thursday. Interceptors shot both of them down. The U.S. has been hitting the Houthis with air and missile strikes for 2 weeks now in an attempt to halt their attacks on Israel and global shipping passing through the Red Sea. President Trump says the Houthi attacks have killed many and disrupted international shipping, but the U.S. offensive is making an impact.
The attacks have been very successful, even beyond our wildest expectations. We've hit them very hard, very successfully, and we're going to do it for a long time.
The administration reportedly has sent another ceasefire proposal to Hamas, seeking the release of American hostage Edan Alexander and a breakthrough in ceasefire negotiations. But so far, no reply from the terror group. Meanwhile, the IDF is striking targets in southern Lebanon after 2 rockets were launched at Israel this morning. In Jerusalem, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu thanked those who came to an international anti-Semitism conference to stand against what he called barbarism.
I say barbarism because anti-Semitism is a disease carried by barbarians that threaten all civilized societies. These anti-Semites wish to destroy not only the Jewish state, they seek to destroy the forces of modernity in the Arab and Muslim world. They seek to drag it back to a primitive and violent medievalism.
Netanyahu warned the fires of anti-Semitism are spreading across the Western world.
They rage in Europe's capitals, in the Western press, in social media. They rage in America's elite universities.
A Turkish student at Massachusetts elite Tufts University has been arrested by ICE agents for alleged pro-Hamas activities. Secretary of State Marco Rubio explained why Rumeysa Öztürk's visa has been yanked, and others would be as well.
We gave you a visa to come and study and get a degree, not to become a social activist that tears up our university campuses. And if we've given you a visa and then you decide to do that, we're going to take it away. I encourage every country to do that.
With the 500% spike in anti-Semitic incidents on American campuses, Congress is stepping in to help fight it.
Universities have been put on notice. Failing to protect a student's civil rights will no longer be tolerated. If universities refuse to follow the law, to address discrimination on campuses, and to support Jewish students, then they should not expect the support of the federal taxpayer.
Senator Cassidy also announced a probe into the activities of the group American Muslims for Palestine on college campuses, claiming its leaders have ties to Hamas.
Going to continue our coverage now with Chris Mitchell in Jerusalem. So, Chris, what happened in Jerusalem after the Houthis shot those missiles?
Well, it was very personal for us over here. It went off just before yesterday's live shot on NewsWatch. I could look out the window behind me, and I saw people across the street. They were hunkering next to a wall. There were buses that stop when sirens go off. Others and nearby were just simply lying on the ground. Others, if they can run into a bomb shelter. As you saw in the report, it was intercepted not too far from here. There was one Israeli who showed me his own video of that interception. It was over a place called the Hadar Mall here in Jerusalem. And it's really part of everyday life here. The Houthis, believe it or not, are 1,400 miles away, and yet they're disrupting what people are going through their daily routine here. And then you know that Iran is backing up, funding and supplying that terror group. And so it explains the U.S. campaign against the Houthis, as President Trump was talking about, not only disrupting life here, threatening Israelis here, but a huge disruption to global trade and shipping.
What were some of the most striking highlights from that anti-Semitism conference in Jerusalem?
Well, I think it was Netanyahu's speech. He's, as some people believe, he's kind of the Churchill of our time. He's warning about radical anti-Semitism and citing that global war against the existence of the Jews. But as he noted, it really doesn't stop with the Jews. A warning, but also an encouragement. He also quoted Theodore Herzl back, who predicted that the Maccabees, which is back in just after about 1,800 years ago, rose by the Jews and fought back, and he think the modern-day Maccabees are here. So he was really encouraged by that. There was also a panel of Christian leaders, including Pastor Larry Huck and also Mike Evans of the Friends of Zion Museum. And as Christian Zionists, they were saying how important it is to be praying and supporting and standing with the Jewish people, especially as global anti-Semitism is rising all around the globe.
All right. Chris, give us a preview of what's ahead on Jerusalem Dateline this evening.
Well, one of the stories we have is Gazans in their own words. We know for the last 4 days that Gazans have been demonstrating inside Gaza themselves. Many of them want to leave, but they're also fed up with Hamas. These protests are really unprecedented, the first kinds we've seen of such size since October 7th. Also a story on Azerbaijan and Israel, the relationship of these two nations and how important it is. We also have an interview with the father of one of the hostages who was just released. And also we have Mike Huckabee. He's been nominated to be the new U.S. ambassador to Israel. We have him in our own words. All that coming up on today's Jerusalem Dateline.
Look forward to that. Chris Mitchell, our CBN News Middle East Bureau Chief, thank you for your insight. We look forward to hearing from you in the days and weeks ahead. I want to remind you at home that you can see Jerusalem Dateline at 8 Eastern. You can find it on the CBN News Channel. You can also watch it on the CBN News app, or you can watch it on YouTube. We've got an update on that mid-air collision between an Army helicopter and a commercial airline flight that happened in D.C. back in January. The FAA is ordering new safety measures. The move comes following news the Black Hawk crew turned off a key piece of equipment. The crew declared visual contact just moments before the collision, but the team had the geo transmitter turned off. Now, that's the system that provides real-time altitude and speed, and some say the data could have alerted air traffic control. The copter was too high. It is not clear why they turned the system off, but at a sensitive hearing Thursday, the Army said the crew did not break any rules. Brigadier General Matthew
proved to operate with that capability off in accordance with Army policy. The aircraft transponder, however, was active. I find that shocking and deeply unacceptable. I am at a loss to come up with any justification for risking the lives of the traveling public with that decision.
The FAA now requires most aircraft to activate the system when flying near Reagan International Airport. Coming up, we're going to take a look at why a pause in America's refugee admission program could lead to a possible national security issue. Stay with us. You're watching CBN NewsWatch. Suspending America's refugee admission program has left thousands in limbo, specifically those left behind when the United States withdrew from Afghanistan. Charlene Aaron shows us why this pause is raising concern about national security.
A number of refugee groups are scrambling to assist those seeking safety and protection. Many of them Afghans who helped the U.S. military during the war there and had already been approved to come to America.
Those allies supported the U.S. government and the U.S. military in those countries, and there was a matter of trust, and I really trusted. And they promised that they would be brought to safety. But if that door is closed right now, I don't think that anyone would trust the U.S.
Mohammed Dad-Saweri once worked as a language assistant to the U.S. military. Now trying to help others leave, Saweri says it's heartbreaking how his fellow countrymen have been abandoned after being promised entry to the U.S.
I not only know there are Afghans allies that are stuck in Afghanistan, and they are living in a very, very risky situation under the brutal group that we fought for 20 years there.
Several agencies sued the administration over the pause, leading U.S. District Judge Jamal Whitehead to issue an injunction saying the executive branch does not have boundless discretion to suspend refugee admissions. The Trump administration later terminated contracts with several resettlement groups. After reaching out to the State Department about its Afghan relocation program, CBN News received the following statement. At this time, no final decisions have been made. The department has paused all U.S. government relocation flights from Kabul to third country processing platforms for Afghan refugee and Afghan special immigrant visa applicants until further notice. Since 1982, Integrated Refugee and Immigrant Services has helped to resettle people from Afghanistan, Somalia, and other dangerous places. Maggie Salem serves as the group's executive director.
A lot of folks would understandably not think about the families of these allies. Those families, even extended families, are at risk.
Sean Vandiver, founder of Afghan EVAC, a veteran-led nonprofit, says the U.S. could never have accomplished its mission without the support of Afghan allies, work that put many of them at risk from the Taliban.
Without the help of local staff and local resources, we would have lost scores more American lives. These people saved us. These people protected us. These people believed us.
This pause has stalled flights from Afghanistan for some 40,000 Afghans already approved for special immigrant visas. Vandiver points out they have already gone through extensive vetting.
Before they come here, they get a whole bunch more vetting. And then once they arrive here, they get a whole bunch more vetting.
Meanwhile, Salem and Sawuri say those seeking to resettle here have much to offer.
The story of America is the story of people bootstrapping, right? Like, you come here, it's really rough. If they came as an engineer or a doctor or a nurse or a carpenter, they want to be using those skills here, and we need them to.
And I really hope that the administration revisit this program and reconsider their strategies, so hopefully they can come to the safety.
Charlene Aaron, CBN News.
Still ahead, massive sound stages in 2 states, intricate sets, and hundreds of characters on set. We're taking you inside The Chosen Last Supper as it hits theaters today. Stay with us. You're watching CBN NewsWatch. Season 5 of the blockbuster series, The Chosen, is in theaters today. The Chosen Last Supper focuses on the final week of Jesus' life on earth. I traveled to Texas to bring you a behind-the-scenes look at the production and its personal impact on the cast.
Listen carefully, because I'm going to tell you what is about to happen.
And with that, the table is set for The Chosen Last Supper. So I know that when we're looking at season 5, we'll be looking at Holy Week.
Yeah.
How would you describe the arc, what plays out in this season for Jesus?
Steamroller, bulldozer, intensity, just a melee of emotions and conflicts, climaxes of conflicts between Jesus and the authorities, climactic frustrations between Jesus and his disciples, their inability to get what he's telling them within days of it happening.
Oh, Jerusalem, Jerusalem.
You can run on for a long time.
My house shall be called a house of prayer, but you make it a den of thieves.
By what authority are you doing these things?
My own. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees! Stop this at once!
It'll be the most beautiful, most complex, most intense season we've ever done.
That beauty, complexity, and intensity includes Jesus' betrayal. Luke Dimyon plays Judas.
You have a choice to make, Judas. I'm listening. Who you belong to.
Luke, how familiar were you with Judas's role in the story before coming to The Chosen?
I was very familiar. I grew up very familiar and having read the Bible. And even at a very young age, I was curious and always questioning why the hate on this guy who obviously felt so bad for what he did, the thing that we hate him for, that he sadly committed suicide. And that never just sat right with me, the kind of blind distaste we had for him, because whenever I read that story, I just saw a missed opportunity and an entire dogma that's supposed to be about forgiveness and rebirth from the misdeeds that you've done. To look at someone who had the opportunity to have the biggest redemption arc and to lose that's a tragedy to me. That's not someone to hate, that's someone to mourn.
I do believe that Jesus is most likely the Messiah.
Why?
Why what?
Why do you believe that?
I've seen too much.
Then why are you doing this?
I suppose I have not seen enough.
We traveled to Dallas to see the cast hard at work on the production's massive sound stages and intricate sets. I feel like every season this production grows.
Yeah.
How would you compare? What's strikingly different about the work this season? I know we're getting close to the end of production. What's strikingly different this time around?
I think, you know what's funny about it? That everything on the surface is gigantic and bigger and more, you know, everything on the surface, the sets are bigger. There's more people. You know, we were in Utah 3 weeks with 600 people every day. Everything grows.
Yeah.
However, I think the beauty is that the actual work has not changed at all. It's still a mom and papa shop doing its own thing, you know? Like 3 writers, you know? 3 writers, a very close-knit group of performers and creators and crew. So that's the beauty. It's like everything around it grew, but it's still the same very family feel. Everybody's still best friends. We didn't let it go to our heads, the fact that the show is going places, you know? And that's the beauty, that it's the same kind of heart. The spirit and the heart is the same. But yes, of course, the sets are huge and there's a lot of people and you know, the show has grown. But I don't know, I love that we are still in the same.
We started, you know, there's a lot of the studio is fund something from the top and then hopefully you get like a top-down result. And we've just been the opposite. We've been bottom up. We grew from the grass that couldn't grow to where we are now. And it's that, as he says, that grassroots mom and pop feel.
What began as a small crowd-funded series is now a worldwide hit, watched on big screens, streamed on small screens, with 2 seasons yet to produce. We are in season 5. You now have less road ahead of you and more behind you. How does it feel?
I mean, I've been sad, to be honest, just because we're just so close and connected, and you know, we're a big family here. So I'm not gonna lie, I've been a bit emotional this season.
It's really mixed feelings. I don't think I really expected it to happen so quickly. I thought maybe over the course of many years we'll get to season 7, but I've been so surprised by how quickly it's grown, and that's allowed us to make the seasons faster. So it's just, at first it was this sort of slow, gradual growth, and now it feels like it's sped up, and it feels like it's going away.
So we're like chasing it.
Yeah.
Wait, no, we want you back. Yeah.
You guys are both naturally so intimately involved in this story. How has it changed you personally over the course of these last few years?
You know, I've learned, it's actually made me more confident. I've learned a lot about myself, and I give that full credit to the writers, the showrunners, just giving Matthew this kind of personality and body and depth. I
mean, when I first booked the role, I was very similar to the Lilith version of Mary. I really connected to that. I was going through a depression. I was struggling with a lot of pain and anxieties, and so over the course of these years, I feel like I've been allowed to change and grow alongside Mary. She's sort of been like this guide of showing me the path to really fulfilling and joyful life.
Finding personal joy in Jesus' story is a running theme on and off screen.
I ask that you keep your distance from me in Jerusalem these next few days.
Why? For those of us who watch intimately, we all describe this project as life-changing for us. You being so heavily involved in leading it, has this changed your life?
100%. I mean, it's changed my relationship with God in that it has deepened it and profoundly and made me want to be more like Jesus in my day-to-day life, not just to play him. And one of the things that keep hitting me is like, you don't have to play Jesus on TV to be Jesus to the world. And I think that's what we're all called to do as believers.
The hour is coming.
The Chosen rolls out in 3 theatrical releases starting today. Part 2 will be in theaters April 4th, and then Part 3 will be in theaters April 11th. It will be available for streaming on Prime Video come June. Stay with us. You're watching CBN NewsWatch. Welcome back to CBN NewsWatch. Audrey's Children is the true story of the doctor who developed revolutionary cancer treatments at a world-renowned children's hospital in Philadelphia. She also helped to open the very first Ronald McDonald House. Here's a preview.
The leading force in oncology, Dr. Audrey Evans.
Hello. Nothing more uplifting than pediatric cancer on a Thursday evening,
Then you came along. You got me all the time.
I have bold ideas. Our standard therapy regimens are simply not aggressive enough to handle such a sinister disease.
Natalie Dormer plays the role of Dr. Audrey Evans. She talked about how the doctor found the strength to endure opposition.
Audrey, her strength came from her faith. She had a very strong Christian faith, and she genuinely believed that she was being called to be a woman who cared.
Audrey's Children is in theaters right now. We'll have more on the film during next week's edition of Studio 5. Well, that is going to do it for this edition of CBN NewsWatch. Remember, you can always find more of our news programs on the CBN News Channel. You can find them there at any time. You can also find them online. That address is cbnnews.com. Take a moment. Let us know what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can email us, newswatch@cbn.com. You can also reach out and touch us on Facebook, Instagram, and X, formerly known as Twitter. Have a fabulous Friday, a wonderful weekend. We'll see you back here come Monday.